Welcome to my design video presentation. In this video, I'll give you a walkthrough of my project from start to finish and show you the original problem I was trying to solve and how I ended up solving it. The problem I looked at was food waste here at Lincoln School's cafeteria, which is select. My goal was to find a better usage to this food as it's currently being fed to pigs. I classified my research into primary and secondary categories. Then I looked at food waste options that are currently being used. For example, a compost, feeding it to pigs, using it as a biogas which produces electricity, as well as giving it to a recycling center. I ended up choosing the compost as my current solution plan due to it being more accessible, cheaper, easy to use, and possessing way more benefits than the other ideas I had in mind. This is also a great fit here at Lincoln School and could be very useful moving on. These are the requirements that I set for my compost. Next, you will look at my 4 sketches, which all have different designs and count with most of the requirements that I set. Here you can see my first and second designs. The first one is a fence compost and the second one is a bin type compost. The first one is made right beneath the soil and the second one is made inside a bin. They both count with most of the design specifications that I had set. You can see my third design, which was an underground compost, and my fourth design, which was a cone type compost. They each also count with most of the requirements I set and are very unique to the past 2 I showed you. I ended up choosing the underground compost, and this due to it being the one that fit the most requirements as well as the school's need. It's also cheap and effective, and a fertilizer is created as a result. Here you can see the materials needed as well as the planning and steps that needed to be followed in order for the compost to be successful. Here is the actual compost build. First, I brought down the materials so I had planned a space to create the compost. Then, I measured the length and width before digging. I dug the hole and measured again to make sure the measurements were right. Then, I added organic food, carbon-rich material, leaves, and these were in layers. After finishing all the layers, I covered it up with a plastic and made holes in it to keep control and balance of the moisture and aeration of the compost. These are the 2 changes that I made to the design. The first change was that I had planned to buy extra worms to use for the compost. Then I realized that this wasn't needed as the worms were naturally in the soil and would grow to become bigger and bigger, this helping the soil. I also realized that the nitrogen and carbon rich material balance wasn't needed as nitrogen rich material isn't as necessary and would just be a waste of money and time. To test my design, I asked an expert. I compared my design to other existing products, as well as comparing it to the design specification and comparing the use of food waste. I also looked at improvements and came to the conclusion that I could have used other ideas from different compost designs as well as had a better time management. Thank you.